Hello. Let me just check some things. All right, that looks good. All right, welcome. Welcome to day 5 of the Shadow Alchemy series. I'm Nicola Robinson of Soul Alignment Sanctuary. And if you've been watching and engaging and you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It really helps me with my business and with building everything out that I'm doing here. So yeah, day 5 has arrived. We're really transiting now in and through this portal where Neptune has shifted. That shifting out of that Pisces energy is really taking place now. And we're moving into that Aries energy even more so. So, really feeling that there's this pulling on the emotional depths and into this warrior strength. So if you're feeling like you're being pulled in many directions, you may have a lot of Pisces or Aries in your chart. And so it's worth looking at your chart if you have that available to see what's showing up there for you and to look at that and start to understand more about what's happening and to receive your chart. Sometimes I'll skim through what is written about the chart, but mostly I want to look at the placement so I can understand what's coming up astrologically and then look at my chart and see how that's going to affect me. So if there's a full moon or a new moon or an eclipse in a certain sign and a degree of a sign, and then I can look on my chart and see how much of that sign I've got, what degrees they're sitting at, and if it really correlates to what's happening in the now moment, and if that will really affect me. And so I feel like that's how I've really started to work with my chart and astrology rather than just reading the report that comes out and going from that, because it can be really heady and just like so much to read and try and remember. And so it's really feeling that we can, yeah, take ownership of what's happening, um, you know, to us, and it's coming up astrologically that can help us to navigate based on what our chart is telling us. So at this time, if you're feeling like a lot of that emotional pulling up of you, especially if you have Neptune in Pisces, Neptune in Aries, you're going to feel this like big pulling, this big shift, this big transit that's happening. And so um, how can we shift ourselves more into our own inner authority, which is what today is about. And this transition that we've gone through all of the days with the that first flame, that initiation of our will, sovereign fire, and then we went through this threshold. We went through the void, we crossed the abyss, and we set a tone and these templates for ourselves that we can use when we are feeling shifts and changes in our reality, in our world that are impacting us in a certain way. Then we have a blueprint that we can go back to now. So this is really giving people tools in their toolkit to be able to um, work through what's coming up for you. So, this inner authority today, this is about I know myself, know thyself, and being in this aspect of embodied truth. So, we can feel that we are in our own authentic truth, that we've moved through these lower density aspects of things that are, that could hold us um, in repeating cycles of shame and guilt and anger and resentment and hate and blame. And so we're really wanting to like let all those fall away from ourselves so we can arrive in this like inner authority, this trusting ourselves, know thyself. Those aspects can come through and we can really embody this Aries energy, this warrior energy, and you really becoming your own spiritual authority. So this new transition is about anchoring in our convictions and the depth of our being, in a way that is this warrior energy, this inner authority, and we have a beautiful coherence around how we communicate about ourselves. So it's really embodying your own truth. And so we're feeling after the crossing of this abyss in the day 4, we're really wanting to feel the emergence of this like a new layer of powerful energy. We're really anchoring in that sovereign truth. We're anchoring in that visionary leadership. We can vision, we can anchor, we can see what we need to do. We can maneuver our lives in a coherent, compassionate, and responsive way rather than bouncing off things and being reactive and having a lot of toxicity and drama and disaster flowing into our lives. So we're really wanting to feel this like this divergence away from those aspects of suffering templates that we can feel that we're plugged into in terms of like ruminating on patterns, being in suffering, having the complaining model of constantly complaining about the things that are happening around us or constantly gossiping about the things around us instead of just speaking about life, speaking about your life and what you're doing and what you're embodying and what you're creating. Everything that comes out of our mouths should be about what we're creating, what we're doing, rather than worrying about or projecting onto or ruminating over or gossiping or complaining about other people. Those are reflections of our own internal self, and these are aspects that all of these days that are that we've worked through have the potentiality to shift if we can go into each journey and really go into those layers and break down and release and let go of and cross that void and that abyss where we can really feel that aspect of self separate out of us. That is the complainer, that is the warrior, or the judgmental aspect of self. And then we can radiate love into that aspect of self until we can feel a shift and we can embody that part of ourselves again because we've let go of judgment and pain and suffering and anger and sadness or all these underlying layers that keep us in a distorted sense of reality. And so, yeah, with all of these sequential days, we want to be making sure we're doing this in order. So if you've arrived here and you haven't done the previous days, please click out and go to day 1 or wherever you were at and go in the order so that you can get the best out of the momentum that we're building to feel the shifts within your internal reality. Because what we're wanting to do is we want to condense everything down into actually being in our body and not being so far out in our heads and in our mind. That saying again from Chase Hughes, what percentage of your day are you living in front of your eyes versus behind your eyes? And so after the Shadow Alchemy series, you want to be living more out here in front of your eyes rather than overthinking, judging, ruminating, projecting, making assumptions, all of these aspects that we can get tied up in knots in our mind about. And so this is where we're feeling that deep embodiment and that inner knowing of self when we can be in alignment with our own integrity of who we are. then we're less likely to be wavered by other people around us because we can feel into those layers of know thyself. The maxim at the Oracle of Delphi, before you walk into the saying, know thyself across the top. And so what we're wanting to feel that is you are becoming um, your own inner authority. You know yourself. You know your likes, your dislikes, your triggers. What lights you up. What are your boundaries? What are your values? What are your beliefs? How do you visualize your future for yourself? And being uncompromising in those aspects of what we're wanting to create for ourselves, because we can find ourselves wavering to appease people around us. And we want to be kind and gentle and genuine and honest and loving to the people around us, but we also want to stand in our truth and our authority, and have that respect. When people respect us and respect our decision, they respect your decision, your words, what you're saying. And then likewise, you are respecting the people around you as well. So we're feeling that there's these shifts that we're really wanting to make, that we're acting on our own convictions. So we're not just projecting out what we think other people should be doing and not doing it ourselves. So we're acting from conviction because we're acting our truth, we're acting our values, and the way that we want to live our lives. We're in alignment with that. We're in that soul alignment because we have felt into all of those aspects that are pulling us out of that, and we've really shifted them, we've alchemized them, we've dissolved those aspects and layers. And so we can embody our intentions for what we want to create in our lives more based on valuing ourselves. This can be part of the process that I go through in my chakra alchemy program, is like what layers of ourselves have we denied, or have we broken away from, and made bad decisions, or just followed down like toxic paths in our lives that then just result in ourselves not trusting our own decision making anymore. And then we can just end up in these really indecisive spirals of not knowing what we want to do, with even the smallest decision, that can just then paralyze us into these um, indecisive, moments of just feeling paralyzed. And that really comes from not trusting our own decision making because we've made bad decisions in the past. So this is part of the discernment of knowing yourself, your inner authority. And it's also opening to these like higher dimensions of capacity, of being able to process more about what's happening to you, about understanding more about reality and things shifting, and why things are lining up the way they are, and why things are falling into place for you. And then when we can see the world in that way, we can make better decisions for ourselves, and we can repattern what's happening for ourselves. So yeah, there's a big shift into this inner authority, when you can really make a decision and feel confident, and in that trusting in your own convictions, acting from that. Then you're going to get the best outcome from your decisions. When we make a decision and then we waver and we're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. What about this? And then you're thinking about the other timeline, or maybe I should have made that decision. And then, of course, that decision looks way better because you're imagining it being way better, but there's no way for you to know that. And so what we want to do is when we make a decision, then we conceptualize that that is the best decision for us, and we create those thought patterns, those thought forms of it being the best decision for us. And of course, everything's always working out because I make good decisions for myself. And then we get into that clarity and we have clarity in our direction for our life, because when we feel that we have a trajectory and a path that we're walking on, and then we are acting in our own authority, our truth. We have forward momentum from our conviction, from our values, are all in alignment, and we can take that those small, like, conscious steps in the direction of what we're wanting to go towards. And once you make a decision and you act on it, every other timeline needs to fall away out of your mind and not be a ruminating thread, because that's when we get caught in being fractured into multiple timelines. What if I stayed with that person? What if I didn't leave that job? What if I got that job instead of that job? What if I decided to move over there instead of there? What if I dated him instead of, her and those people? So that all of those what ifs are just fracturing our consciousness, and we are keeping active and open multiple timelines that are draining our energy and siphoning our energy. And then we get caught in those lower density of emotions of like ruminating and apathy, depression, regret, shame, guilt, all these things. So we really want, when we make a decision, when we decide we want to do something, everything else collapses and we're like, okay, we're in this timeline now. So we're not fracturing ourselves out. And this is feeling that we are then being assertive with ourselves. This is developing your relationship to yourself. How assertive am I with myself? How, with routine, with setting things up well for your future self. We talked about this on Witchy Talk. Um, and this came through from a Chase Hughes video that I watched. And it's like, how well are you setting up your future self? Your future self is in the morning when you wake up. Your future self is on the weekend when you said you were going to do this thing. So it's like, how well are you setting yourself up for that? If the thing that you said you were going to do on the weekend, if you need to do prep for that, you want to be doing prep for that during the week, not the morning of 2 hours before you have to go and do the thing, rushing to get it all done. Because then you're radiating regret into your past. Oh, I should have been more prepared. I should have done this. This should have been done during the week. Why didn't I do this during the? And you're berating yourself. So we're not setting ourselves up in good stead to be in authority, to be confident, to be embodied in our own aspect of having capacity in the now moment to just be present. Because if we're constantly rushing, if we constantly feel like we're backtracking and we're behind on everything, then we feel like we're constantly catching up. So in terms of setting yourself up for the next day, what you're going to wear, your bag's ready, your shoes are out, things are ready, you've got your socks you want to wear with the shoes, and you've got the things happening. Then in the you can be more present in the now, because you've set that up, and then you're radiating gratitude back into the past, and that gratitude holds you up as well. Because when we can radiate gratitude into our past, then we're supporting ourselves. We've got our own back. Most people operate in radiating regret or shame or guilt, all these lower density emotions into the past. So then the energy that they have behind them is dense and stuck and low vibrational. So we really want to shift that. In terms of forgiveness, radiating just this like, wholehearted forgiveness into our past for whatever we've done to to ourselves, to others within the world, and feeling that all of the things that have happened are all lessons and What can we learn from this? How can I learn to not repeat that pattern? What has that pattern taught me about how I operate in the world? And taking that lesson and then collapsing that timeline. Once you really extract the lesson and understand what's happened within that dynamic, within that relationship, within that job, within the dynamic of with your parents or with your siblings, then then that timeline can collapse because we're extracting the wisdom. We want to go on these wisdom retrieval journeys where we can go in and retrieve what those pearls of wisdom are, and that is what's going to radiate gratitude into those timelines, because we can feel that we have gained something from it that is creating integrity with us. Because even though it was a shitty situation, or we act out of alignment within our own values, or we were, so distorted in our perception of reality that we did shitty things, it's like, well, I actually can radiate forgiveness into that aspect of myself and understand why I did the things I did, or why I reacted, why I had that argument with my dad, why I spoke to my brother or my friend or my colleague or my boss that way, why I reacted that way. And then we can know thyself, because we can understand why we have our triggers. Our triggers are just blinding lights trying to illuminate what we need to shift. So whenever we're triggered, we want to drop straight into, I think I've said this in day two, maybe drop straight into, when you feel triggered, notice where it is in your body. Be like, okay, this is happening. This person did this. I just had this reaction. I just said something that was not good. I had the thought of what I wanted to say. That was, oh, why did I want to say that? That's connected into, I felt like a connection to my younger self. What can I learn and how can I shift this in the now moment and then respond in a different way? So all of this is shifting us to be able to respond to our reality in a different way and be more present and embodied in the now moment. So we're not distracted, we're not easily manipulated by people, places, things, propaganda, whatever else is happening out there in the world. And so we can feel that we have critical thinking. This has really been lost, especially with AI and AI taking over, with a lot of people's not not using their own thought processes to come to a conclusion about something, and just defaulting to asking AI about things that they could probably easily like ruminate or conceptual over, or kind of brainstorm out and be like, okay, I can map that myself and I'm using my brain. So yeah, this like aspect of critical thinking is being lost. And I even experienced that myself when I started using AI a lot, and I could really feel aspects of my thought processes shifting when I was using it a lot, when I first jumped onto these different platforms. And so I've really like chunked down like how I use it and stopped using it for just benign, silly questions, and just actually like, let's just think about it and do my own research and understand different processes of things, and put things together myself. Because yeah, if this critical thinking within you is lost, then you really lose the ability to process on a really acute level what's happening around us, and that is needed now more than ever. And so we're really feeling the selfhood. We really want to be embodying the selfhood, like we are knowing deeply ourselves. We have these deeper understandings of what makes us different, of reclaiming what sets you apart from other people, what defines who you are. And this is really this aspect of Neptune shifting out of Pisces. Pisces was very much about globalization, very much about like community, about, gatherings, about creating these big, wide open groups and aspects of connection, which is great. And Neptune moving into Aries drops us back into our sovereignty, our own autonomy, and we can be within these collective spaces and remain autonomous. We don't lose our identity within the crowd. We don't become, just another one of everyone else that's around us. We remain within our own definition of our values and that conviction within self. That's that integrity, which is so important. So that emergence. So this, we've come out the other side of the crossing, we've crossed the void, and that really powerful meditation activation from yesterday, sorry, from day 4. And yeah, now this expansion. And we're feeling how that feminine and masculine dynamic is coming through. The anima energy is really refining our perception. So that's everything I was saying. This is the your view, how you can see and perceive the world. And when we lose our prejudices, when we lose and drop all of our projections from wounded self, when we lose all of those, then we can refine our perception of reality. We can see it for what it truly is, and we can see people, places, things, events, aspects of reality as they truly are. So, yeah, this anima energy, this feminine, is really refining perception. Because when we're projecting from our wounded self onto reality, everyone is constantly mapping onto you your triggers and your wounded self. So you see your wounded projections of self in everything around you, and people have no choice but to show up in that way. And they're only showing up in that way because you perceive it in that way. So if you had a different lens, someone's actions would be perceived in a completely different way, and you would pick up on different mannerisms. Your mind and perception would pick up on different words and different intentions in what someone was saying. So if the event in front of you was completely identical, but you had the lens of wounded self who is always betrayed, and then you are going to perceive that as a betrayal code and whatever. And when you can shift that and come from love and be like, and radiate understanding and yeah, these loving aspects into a space, then even the situation is completely identical, our perception of that is going to change. And that's our reticular activating system, our RAS. It sits at the front of our brain, and it perceives everything in correlation to your beliefs. So your internal beliefs shape how you see the world. So when we can drop all of that wounded self, when we stop channeling those aspects of our wounded self, then we perceive that. So we're refining that perception. And so that's that anima energy, that feminine energy. And then the animus, this masculine, is trusting the perfect timing, is trusting the timing of everything that's happening around us. And so we're in this forward momentum. On day 4, it was like forward momentum without rushing. And so this masculine then shifts with this forward momentum into trusting the clarity of the timing, what's happening around us. And when we can shift into that, then we can just move through life and not have those fractured attachments to what if that we were talking about earlier. So if we're trusting our timing, we're refining our perception, then we are following the natural progression of everything that we are doing without fracturing into what ifs. And we're constantly doing what ifs every day. Like, what if, what if I got the green light? What if the car in front of me wasn't going so slow and we got through that light? Like, what if I would be there a bit earlier? This would have happened. I might have met someone different. What if, and then what if, I didn't get through that light? So yeah, maybe I missed a car accident. But it's not even thinking about that. It's just like, this is what is happening in the now moment. And I'm not even fracturing into any what ifs in any element of any situation or any dynamic with anyone. It's just trusting the pure forward momentum of your reality because you're in that inner authority. You've collapsed all of these timelines. None of this is fracturing out. We don't have any aspects of channeling the wounded self is not coming through. We're channeling our higher self. We're channeling our future self because we're setting our future self up in alignment for best outcome because we can really forward project because in the now moment we're always setting ourselves up for our best future. And so when we feel this flowing through, because the anima the day before was grieving what's leaving. So when we can really shift through what's leaving, when we're crossing that void, then we have the clarity of perception. And so that is what I'm saying about when those aspects of our fractured, wounded self we can let go of them. We can radiate love. We can embody them. We can forgive ourselves. We can feel that that's all embodied. Then we are moving in that, defined action, and we have that coherence is really streaming through. All right, so we want to go into a journey. And so we've crossed this void. So we want to feel into those aspects that we felt in the last session of that arriving through that other side of the void of the crossing and the expansion that can come through from that. And so just closing down your eyes. I turn the light off. So just closing down your eyes. Feeling your deep breaths down into your belly, drawing your consciousness down into your being. We want to be here now, not overthinking, not over analyzing. It's letting go of your day. It's feeling that overthinking, over analyzing, letting go of each breath. Just feeling into the overthinking and over analyzing separates the body from the mind. And we know this. Some of us will know this from a Tool song. Overthinking, over analyzing separates the body from the mind, withering my intuition, Just feeling how important this embodied presence is. So, drawing that breath in deeper into your belly and expanding your diaphragm down and through your nose. And out through your mouth, out through those pursed lips. I'm feeling that as we're breathing in coherence. We think that over thinking and over analyzing separates the body from the mind. Then, if we are in coherence, and that our body and our mind are operating as one, then we're trusting our decision making. We're trusting that forward momentum of our lives because we embody our own truth. And so when you feel the breath arriving into you, feel that each breath is breathing all of these keys into your body, and they're traveling all the way through your body, your auric field, and they're searching out and looking for where we've locked away our aspects of self that have this inner authority, this inner confidence, because it was there at one point in our lives. And feel these keys scanning, scanning, and scanning through your body. And just feeling where they want to go. They might want to go into certain organs in your body, the back of your heart. They might want to be in your auric field, like unlocking different parts of your auric field that are going to allow more coherent energy to flow into you. So you can have this visionary leadership for yourself. We want to be a visionary leader for our own lives. What are we visioning for ourselves that is in alignment with everything that we want for our lives? And as these keys scan around you and around you, feeling them just like unlocking multitudes of layers through your auric field and through your chakras. And feeling new aspects of that root chakra opening up. Feeling that that root chakra can open up now, and it can be broad, like a big disc opening up, and it's red and wide, and it radiates all around you. And these keys are opening and unlocking these different aspects of the root chakra. Feeling that there are these other aspects to chakras that are smaller portals that oscillate around the chakra, that have the ability to open into new dimensional gateways, that can access just all of these potent versions of self that we want to embody. And so feeling oscillating around your root chakra, there's some smaller spheres of energy. And as they open these dimensional gateways to acting on our convictions, being grounded and rooted in our integrity. And as these points oscillate around your chakra, they hold it in integrity of this version of self, this output energy that we want to be radiating. And feeling that energy, these keys are radiating around your womb space, your sacral, your lower belly area. And they are unlocking these different aspects of your creative center, your womb space, your creativity, your ability to speak into your visionary creative endeavors. Your creativity can flow with confidence into your inner authority of your embodied truth, the truth of your creativity in your life, of how you want to create your life. And feeling those oscillating energy spheres around your chakra, these dimensional gateways into powerful versions of yourself. Hold that integrity. And feeling those keys spiraling up into your solar plexus. And feeling that radiate around, these keys are scanning through and just unlocking so many layers in the central sun of your body, this internal spark, and feeling that spark of life in the center just burst forth through you, radiating out behind you, and feeling that engulfing your whole being. These keys are unlocking, feeling that clarity in your directionality, your internal compass is activated. I embody my truth. I'm becoming my own spiritual authority. Can follow my own inner guidance with confidence and authority. And feeling those spheres, those dimensional gateways oscillating around this chakra. Feeling that they're really activating this central sun, your solar plexus, your confidence center. And these portals that are oscillating around opening up this clarity into these different directions that we want to take our life in, how we want to streamline how we are acting in our life, how we're speaking in our life, and feeling that radiating up into your heart chakra, feeling that expanding open, that heart space, those keys really layering in there, right in the center of your heart, unlocking aspects, Siriya Diriya Dayananai Priya Daira Siriya De. And again, another layer of unlocking Sharadaira Siriya Diriya Daira Mono. And then again, out layers, layers upon layers, these keys, just unlocking different aspects and all these like really nuanced ways that we are perceiving the world, just unlocking and just shifting the way that our heart is operating and feeling that solar sun energy radiating up into your heart and warming your heart. That golden heart energy is really radiating through. Feeling that heart coherence, we can feel our consciousness in our heart space. We are radiating from love. And we are operating in that autonomy, that sovereignty. And those oscillating spheres of light, those dimensional gateways around the heart, in through the back. And feeling those new portals connecting into the confidence of I make good decisions for myself. I make good decisions for myself. I embody my truth. I am my own authority, and I make good decisions for myself. I follow them with a deep knowing and a deep trust that I have made the best decision for myself in this moment. And I feel that directionality of that compass within my heart opening and flourishing. Feeling that energy rise into your throat center, and feeling the keys spiraling through and unlocking different aspects right through the middle of the throat center, around through the thyroid gland, all the way down and up and around all the layers. And feeling the expansion through your voice, through the integrity and conviction in your voice, stability, feeling the quality of the words that you choose in most beautiful alignment to everything that you're creating. And feeling those spheres radiating around your throat center. Feeling that capacity to speak in new ways opening up. That we're opening these dimensional gateways into these higher versions of self that are articulate, that communicate with clarity, they're impeccable with their words, they're clear, they're decisive, they are just beautifully flowing in the present moment, um, with those beautiful, engaging aspects of conversation, and feeling those flow in and flood in Feeling that assertiveness and that authority arriving into your voice, into how you speak about yourself, the life that you're living, your own truth, about your values, about what makes you you, and this emergence and embodiment of your inner authority, this coherent stream of consciousness that is yourself, that floods through you and out of you beautifully. And feeling that energy all swirling up into your third eye. Feeling those keys swirling through your third eye and really unlocking deeper layers of your perception of your third eye, your intuition, expanding and opening up, trusting and knowing that what your intuition is guiding you to, listening to it in the moment, acting from it in the moment, being present in the moment, is being in your own authority. Those keys spiraling through and unlocking, and feeling that unlocking rippling down your pineal gland, unlocking these different layers, reducing that calcification, shattering away, visualizing that calcification shattering away and purifying those aspects of that internal perception, internal visualization, being able to perceive, see, hear, know, receive guidance from your higher self, from your guides, from your team, from your oversoul, feeling that internal visualization just opening and coming online. In those spheres, dimensional gateways that oscillate around your third eye, opening those gateways into clarity, into truth, into knowing, into that deep knowing. And feeling that expanded energy welling up into your crown and feeling that dialing open like the lens of a camera, opening that crown space and feeling those keys working within the crown. Those keys are spiraling in and through into the deepest depths of that crown center there. Siriatiria manai sharatayatiria mano fiorodore kandarayataria mani. And feeling that that is really drawing the energy up and down between all of them now, all the way down your spine, down to your root and back up to your crown. And feeling that those keys are unlocking that connection to draw the mind down into the body. All of those thought processes, all of those perceptions, all of those layers are filtered down through every aspect of every chakra now. And we're drawing that energy down into the body. And feeling those keys spiraling through your brain, just unlocking these different aspects and doors in your brain. But this crown energy is flooding in to your whole skull. And that your crown center has these oscillating spheres of light, these dimensional gateways. Feeling that creative energy flooding these dimensional gateways, accessing into the highest reality for your being. This beautiful, benevolent energy flooding in to you and revealing to you these beautiful ways of being able to live your life, to shift and change perceptions, and to understand new layers of your reality. And feeling radiating out of your crown this beautiful protective energy around your whole auric field and energy field, this white ceiling of light, this triple protection radiating out around everything that we've done, and feeling that triple protection energy really solidifying all of the clarity of your inner authority, your coherence, your integrity, and really trusting in your own timing, trusting in the timing of your life, timing of everything that's unfolding for you. That is radiating in through your crown, through these dimensional gateway access points. Feeling these dimensional gateways are accessing your infinite self. All of these access points are how we are channeling the infinite versions of ourself that have our highest integrity and most beautiful love-filled path in their field. And when we can channel our infinite self in this way, we feel that everything is in resonance because it's coming from ourselves. And this is really anchoring in this inner authority, feeling this warrior energy coming in, stepping into this Aries energy. Siria manaira chira deria hiria putura deria siria iriam norotai, and feeling that grounding cord, feeling this cord just like radiating straight down you into the earth from your crown. And as it plummets down into the earth below you, it spreads out its roots all the way around. So as you're walking, it has this field of energy that moves in front of you, behind you, around you, and it's picking up on every piece of information that is in alignment with your higher self, with channeling these infinite versions of self that are in alignment with your most beautiful growth. And feeling that that triple protection radiates over your crown. It wraps under your feet. We're swirling that triple protection around and around, and however we're seeing that lock into place. Really being mindful of cultivating our energy and cultivating the protection of our energy and our energetic sovereignty so that we can interact with the world around us and remain relatively unaffected by what's happening around us. We're not drawing on other people's emotions as we're walking through the supermarket anymore. We're grounded in the authority of our energy. I have authority over my energetic system that it doesn't pick up on and siphon into me the intensity of the emotion of all the people around me. I have the ability to perceive it and know that it is separate from me. I have the ability to say that I am my sovereign being and my energy is my own. I can feel you out there, other people, and I have the ability to be compassionate towards that. But your energy does not have permission to affect me in a deep way where I am incapacitated because of your energy. And so, this triple protection is imperative, activating this daily, being in the inner authority of ourselves. Just feeling that throat center expanding all the way around us and up like a beautiful chalice around our face, this blue energy down into our heart. And feeling that authority in our voice really refining. We want to open a gateway in our throat to really channeling that infinite version of self that is a master in the realms of communication and anchoring that into our being so we can operate in a beautiful way in the realms of communication. And feeling your being, your physical body. We are embodied. All of our energy is down in our body. My mind is in my fingertips. My mind is in my thighs. My mind is in my belly, my spleen, my lungs, my heart. My mind is in my knees, my toes. And feeling as you are drawing your mind down and being in your body, stretching and moving your body. My mind is in the palms of my hands. My mind is in my throat, my heart, my lungs, my stomach, my tummy, my bowels. My mind is in my womb. I am embodied presence. And as you stretch and move your body to feel into those energies, allowing yourself to take up space, stretching your muscles, and feeling yourself moving in new ways that are in alignment with this confidence, this inner authority. Becoming aware of your surroundings, noticing sounds around you, outside of the room, the space that you're in. Just comprehending the alchemy, stepping into this new version of self, this new personal identity that's anchored, feeling where you're wanting to anchor that personal identity down your spine, drawing a snake or a dragon up your spine. There's a ram energy, Aries across your chest through your shoulder blades. What does this new personal identity, this bold action, this inner authority look like? Feel like you have armor on. And just placing your hands over your eyes, fluttering your eyes open, just letting little bits of light in. Just looking around your room, anchoring yourself into an aspect of your room, your space. And I'm going to leave you here so you can journal, you can write down your visions, processes, aspects that came up. And I will see you in day 6.